A love that begins in youth and ends in lifelong happiness, asterisk. Have you ever wondered if that first heart-pounding crush could actually last a lifetime? You know, the kind of love story you see in movies where two people meet in school, fall in love, and actually make it. Most people say it's just a fairy tale, a sweet but unrealistic dream. They say people change, drift apart, and that puppy love rarely survives the tests of time. But what if I told you that sometimes, just sometimes, fairy tales come true? Today, I want to share a story that proves it's possible. A story about a love that didn't even just flicker out after graduation, but grew into a roaring fire, warming two hearts for a lifetime. This is the story of how a high school romance blossomed into a beautiful, lifelong partnership. It all began in a noisy high school hallway. He was a bit shy, always with his nose in a book. And she was the vibrant, outgoing girl who lit up every room she entered. Their worlds couldn't have been more different. But one day, a chance encounter over a dropped stack of books sparked a conversation. That conversation turned into daily chats, study sessions, and late-night phone calls talking about everything and nothing. They shared their dreams, their fears, and their favorite songs. They were just kids, navigating the awkward, wonderful maze of being teenagers. But they were doing it together. Their first date wasn't fancy. It was a simple walk in the park, sharing a bag of chips, and laughing until their sides hurt. It was in those simple moments that they found a connection that felt deeper than just a high school fling. They supported each other through exams, celebrated victories in sports, and comforted each other through teenage heartaches and family drama. They became each other's biggest cheerleaders. Their lockers were side by side. Their names were scribbled in each other's notebooks, and their hands always seemed to find each other in the crowded hallways. Then came graduation, the day everyone looks forward to. But for them, it was tinged with a little bit of fear. The future was a big, scary question mark. College acceptances were in, and they were heading to different cities, hundreds of miles apart. This is where most stories like theirs end. The "it was fun while it lasted" chapter. Friends and family gave them knowing looks, gentle warnings not to get their hopes up. Long distance is tough, they'd say. And they were right. It was tough. The first few months were a whirlwind of new faces, new classes, and new experiences. The late-night calls were still there, but now they were squeezed between study groups and part-time jobs. Sometimes, the connection would lag. The texts would go unanswered for hours, and doubt would creep in. There were moments of jealousy, misunderstandings, and loneliness. There were times they both wondered if it was worth it. Was it realistic to hold on to a high school romance when a whole new world was opening up? But then, one of them would send a care package with favorite snacks and a handwritten letter, or a surprise visit for a weekend would be planned. These small acts of love were a powerful reminder of what they had. They learned to communicate better, to trust more, and to cherish the time they did have together. Whether it was a video call or a short holiday break, they made their separate lives a shared adventure. Telling each other about new friends, tough professors, and funny dorm stories. They grew up, but they grew up together, even when they were apart. 4 years of college passed like that. 4 years of plane tickets, long drives, and counting down the days until they could see each other again. And then, another graduation. This time, there was no fear, only excitement. They had done it! They had survived the long-distance test that breaks so many couples. They moved to the same city, ready to finally start their life in the same zip code. Living together was a new chapter. They learned each other's quirks: who was messy, who was the early riser, who hogged the blankets. They navigated their first real jobs, paid bills, and built a home. It wasn't always a movie montage of romantic dinners and perfect moments. There were disagreements about finances, stresses from work, and the challenges of everyday life. But the foundation they had built back in high school, the friendship, the trust, the unwavering support, was rock solid. They knew how to talk to each other, how to listen, and most importantly, how to laugh through the tough times. One evening, they went for a walk in that same park where they had their first date all those years ago. He got down on one knee, and with a ring in his hand, he asked her to be his partner for life. It wasn't a surprise to anyone who knew them. It was the natural, beautiful next step in a love story that had been unfolding for a decade. Their wedding was a celebration of not just their love, but their journey. The maid of honor was her best friend from high school, and the best man was his. Their first dance was to a song they had obsessed over as teenagers. It was a room full of people who had watched their love grow from a seed into a towering tree. Years turned into decades. They raised a family, bought a house with a white picket fence, and watched their own children go off to high school. They faced life's biggest challenges together: career changes, health scares, and the loss of loved ones. And through it all, their bond only deepened. He still looked at her with the same adoration as the shy boy in the hallway, and she still lit up his world like the vibrant girl who had captured his heart. Their home is filled with photo albums, pictures of them at prom, awkward and beaming. Photos from their separate college dorms, holding up letters from each other. Wedding photos, travel photos, pictures with their children, and now their grandchildren. Each photo is a chapter in their epic love story. Now, you can find them in their golden years, still holding hands on their evening walks. They still share a bag of chips in the park, still laugh until their sides hurt. Their love isn't the fiery, uncertain passion of youth anymore. It's a calm, steady, and deeply comforting flame. It's a love that has been tested by distance, time, and life itself, and has emerged not just intact, but stronger and more beautiful than ever. Their story is a powerful reminder that love isn't about grand, dramatic gestures. It's about the small, consistent acts of kindness, support, and commitment. It's about choosing each other day after day through every season of life. It's about growing together, not apart. So, is a love that begins in youth and ends in lifelong happiness just a fairy tale? Maybe for some, but for these two, and for others like them, It's a real, tangible, and beautiful reality. It proves that when two hearts find their home in each other early on, they can build a love that truly lasts a lifetime. If you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe. Thank you.